A very good afternoon and namaskar to one and all present here. I'm delighted to welcome you to a new episode of our Futuristic Education, a web series dedicated to education. An Edudevs initiative in association with Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, a series to enlighten and empower the educated community in the latest education trends of the 21st century. These are a city-based series where the educators and edu leaders and our panelists are invited to voice their views on a pertinent issue. I'm Devyani Kapoor and I'm your host and moderator for today. Continuing the new tradition of creating of our recent webinars, and without much ado, let me introduce to you all our today's esteemed panelists. Today, we have with us Mr. Sabarish Narayanan, the Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Amrita School of Engineering from Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham University. We welcome you, sir. Let us now welcome Ms. Deep Bedi, who is a principal of Mount Literia Z School, Karnal, as our city for today is Karnal. We also have with us Dr. Jasjeet Sood, Principal, OPS Vidya Mandir, Karnal, who has been recognized as the top 100 principals and also featured in a coffee table book. Congratulations, Mrs. Dr. Jasjeet Sood.
Thank you.
And welcome all our panelists to our today's episode on something which is very hidden but very pertinent, building a positive school culture. Let's, for a moment, all of us, close our eyes and try and paint a picture of a school climate. When you walk into a school campus, you can actually immediately sense the school climate by watching the kind of interactions that go around in the environment. Do teachers, students, school leaders seem happy, and do they look forward to coming to school and treat each other with respect, or are their faces drooping and sad? Does the school environment show cleanliness and orderliness? Are the bulletin boards that are displayed sending out positive, vibrant messages? The answer is, when you walk into any truly excellent school, you instantly almost feel that vibrant environment, a calm, orderly atmosphere which hums with an exciting vibrance of sense of, purposefulness. Everybody knows their business. Students walk with poise and confidence. There is no silence, but there is positivity in the chaos which is around. Teachers talk about their work. They are immensely professional, passionate about teaching. Staff rooms hum and resonate with conversations over coffee and tea about the best practices in education. School culture, you see, is like as obvious as the air which is around us. We cannot neglect it. We simply breathe in, and keeping it pure and keeping it polluted is completely in our hands. The associations we make regarding the ideas the school stands for have a powerful impact on how we behave, contribute towards it, and hence willingly participate. So the term when I speak about school culture, it generally refers to the beliefs, the perceptions and relationships and attitudes of everybody who's a stakeholder in that ecosystem. May it be the principal, the students, the teachers, the staff, the support staff. Everybody is on the same page. Everybody is speaking the same language. Everybody is driven by purposefulness and passion. Without delaying, and as I always use my phrase, spilling over the beans, let me come to our ice-breaking question. A similar question is addressed to all our esteemed panelists, and we capture their perspectives and their opinions regarding the same. Today's question, the ice-breaking question would be answered in the order of first Dr. Jasjeet Sood, then Ms. Bedi, and after that, Mr. Sarbajit. Like larger social culture, a school culture results from both conscious, and unconscious perspectives, as I said, values, interactions, and practices, which heavily shape your school environment, and it is driven by the institution's history. Now, my question is, why are we even talking about this culture? Why is school culture so vital? And how does it impact the teaching, learning process and the student outcome? This is the most important thing. Yes, Dr. Jasjeet, starting from you.
Very good afternoon. First of all, as today, 28th of February is National Science Day, I wish all of you very, very happy Science Day. And we have celebrated in our school to inculcate scientific temper in students. So this question is really, I like this question and it's very close to my heart. The positive school culture or school culture is the lifeline of this institution. If the vision of the school is translated and reflected in the children, it means whatever is the vision, that is completely realized. The potential of the students is completely realized. The destiny of India is shaped in its classrooms. So what mindset children get, what thought process, what kind of habits they get in the school, these habits are ingrained in the school, that is going to decide that what kind of society we will face tomorrow. So whatever is going on in schools today, that the same thing will be reflected in this society tomorrow. So school culture is extremely important and it depends upon the mindset, thought process, beliefs, and attitudes of all its stakeholders, right from the teachers, students, parents, and the vision of the leadership. A positive school culture, as I have told, it is when vision is translated into positive experiences for both hands, staff as well as students, that both, they have the feeling of belongingness to the school institution and they love to come to school and they wait that at what moment they will be inside the school, because all their senses, if school is catering to all the senses of children as well as teachers and everyone, even the class 4 staff, so definitely they will develop belongingness, they will develop positive frame of mind, positive mindset, and positive mindset is the basic which is required to instill other knowledge, skills, and rest of the thing. So it is really very important when teachers are having positive mindset, they will be excited to do their work and they will see the bigger picture and they will address to the individual needs of the students also by customizing various solutions for the students, and they will be able to handle them as teams also. generally we see that whatever is taught in the class of 40 students, and sometimes if somebody is thinking that this is group learning process and individual needs cannot be addressed to, that these individual needs can be addressed to only by inculcating positive mindset and having a positive culture in the school. So this is the basic lifeline. And if positive culture prevails in any institution, definitely we are going to have very enlightened, very peaceful, very harmonious society tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Very well said. Positive school culture is the edifice on which a peaceful and a harmonious society would rest. Thank you so much, Dr. Jaspreet. Over to you, Ms. Deep Bedi. There is a lot to come. There is a lot that we have to deliberate. So please adhere to the basic question. That will be very nice. Yes, Ms. Deep Bedi.
Thank you, Madam Devyani. So well said by Dr. Sood, and she's already covered all the points. And here I would like to begin with a nice quotation that the heart and soul of a school culture is what people believe in, the assumptions they make about how an institution works. So what is school culture? Sanskriti. We talk about Sanskriti, which is the soul of any institution. So school culture actually includes an atmosphere, first, of a mutual respect amongst all the stakeholders where teaching and learning are valued. It is vital for all the achievements and successes that are celebrated and where ongoing collaboration is the main norm. It is a shared set of what? Vision, goals, values, beliefs, relationships, the structure that influences the way educators and administrators think, feel, and behave in a school. Now, according to Fulhan, Fullan, in the year 2007, he wrote that the school culture can be used to encompass all attitudes, expected behaviors, and values that impact how a school operates. So I read this quotation 3-4 times and I was really mesmerized. He wrote everything in these 2 sentences, that a school culture can be used to encompass all attitudes, expected behaviors, and values that impact how a school operates. So vision and mission are the 2 things which a staff needs to know, which children need to know. Right the time when they enter the gate of the school is where actually the work starts. We do give culture, we give Sanskriti at home, but what about the educational institutions? That is a very, very laid back attitude what children have at home, but once they come to the school, they get to learn so many parameters, so many aspects of culture, and it is vital because it enhances the strong interaction between a child and a teacher, the conversation that happens within the campus. It nurtures an environment with high expectations right from the gate to classes. A teamwork is required to build a very, very strong community. It effectively engages students and staff. It has strong commitments to lifelong teaching and learning, as the staff should feel obliged to engage the process of learning with curiosity, with inquiry and interest. And that is one thing what you can actually put in your children in the class. A sense of deep responsibility.
Very well said. Thank you so much.
With effective leadership, solid strategy, strengthen the philosophies of the school, the contribution of each person, and celebrations of students and their successes. So I believe school culture does matter. And over a week, and in these few days, we have realized where the Sanskriti of the schools has gone in these past 2 years. We really need to pull up our socks, come back to the same platform. And I'm sure nothing is impossible and sky is the limit. And I'm sure with small, small things which we need to imbibe culture, the schools, all schools across India, the world, whatever they have lost, I'm sure once they revive, everything will be into the smooth platform. This is what I would like to say. Thank you, Devyani.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think so well encapsulated that the moment you walk into the school, it actually begins there. You need to imbibe it and nurture it, and cannot be thrust. And a big role is to be played by the leadership. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mr. Sarabrish Narayanan. What is it? Because I think both our panelists have actually completed and covered all the aspects of the vitals of positive school culture. Let's hear you out. What is that new perspective that you would like to offer?
Yeah, good evening to everyone. See, my views are from a higher education side where we get the inputs from the schools. So where we have we are really aware of this. We are able to easily identify a person who has come from a particular school, and we know that he has got that particular culture in it. Simply put, he should know how to face a day. If a school has a systematic approach of how a day functions, right, that is enough. A systematic approach. And that's what we have always seen. The students who come from schools that have a systematic approach in a day or in a week has all the components in it. These students prove to be extremely successful. And success, I don't mean that they just get all the US degree jobs or this thing, high paying jobs. These guys are happy. They take leadership roles. They motivate others. And they are also personally satisfied. This is something which we have really felt. It is starkly seen there. Everybody has the knowledge and base everything. All the schools teach it. I will never say any school is good or bad or up and down. Every teacher does the job. The basic math, physics, science is there with everyone. But that is only half of it. Finally, you will say that it is only 1% of it. 99% is the work culture that a student picks up from the school. And that is decided by how the school conducts one day in their schedule. This is the simple way of me putting a school culture. It is, I don't use big words. Yes, ma'am?
I think this is such an eye-opener. I mean, you've actually hit the bullseye that when you say that how a school runs, what is that day structure?
Exactly, that's all.
Day?
Exactly.
And if the child is meaningfully spending that one day in the school,
he will be okay. That's it.
That is, I think, because if they know principles of, being accountable, having ownership of the various aspects of the various things that happen and that are in the school, that is what, in putting it in the most simplest way, but most basic. And I'm sure if we have leaders and school edu leaders and principals and educators here listening to this, they can start with this. They can actually begin from here. So I would...
Can I just have one more point, ma'am? Can I just have one more point?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I would really like to say that I bow my heads before the schools who are able to inculcate this habit there. Make the students systematic such that they are flexible. That is the idea there. That is what I would like to put it. The school should inculcate that system. In higher level, it is too late to inculcate it. And I feel extremely sad when I see that some students are not able to proceed ahead because it was left out in the school. We cannot undo that damage. We cannot start doing it here because he has crossed age 18. That's what I will put it in simple words. The impact of a school teacher is beyond recognition. So that is
and
my
whole
view.
Culture begins.
School culture. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. The
we
whole
easily
culture actually
identify
because the student, very, very easily, because student is not interacting with the principal, student is not interacting with anyone. So he's interacting with the teacher. So I think a lot of responsibility falls on the educator to,
solely on the teacher.
Start, yeah, certainly. And very lessons of systematic, lessons of being systematic and also inculcating that they are flexible. That is extremely important. Very beautifully put it, sir. Thank you so much. Now, I would move on to, again, I would like, because this is something, your question is very related, which I would pick it from here, that now you're talking about systematic, being flexible, and you said that, so these are very basic, not novel, but very, very mandatory aspects that would lead on to create a school culture. Now, the relevance of a school culture is accentuated by, let's talk about rituals and traditions that are very inseparable part of it. Smallest rituals of how the children walk in the corridors, or I'm not saying whether they walk in a row or not, that is a separate debate, but how is their body language, what is their mannerism, what are they being. So in order to foster a positive culture, the staff, the students, and their families have to work together. My question to you is, if you could also elaborate, because you already pointed out, and that's why I skipped a question and came to you. Could you now put in the same simple language, what are some of the indicators of a strong and positive school culture, and how do we foster them? And you can start from where you left. Yes, Mr. Narayanan.
Yeah, thank you. I was having these things in my mind, and I was part of this PR department of our university. See, we have specific examples of how students excel because of their basic school background, not because of what we provided. We provided only the final touch there. The systematic approach which they use there is no big proof for it, because I can only give you a personalized thing that students come and tell me. We can feel the difference. This guy has done it, this guy couldn't do it. Simple. That's it. Say, for example, all our achievements are finally in terms of, say, they get good jobs, they get good placements. I'm talking it solely from the higher education scenario, where we are clearly able to analyze why this guy was able to get it. Good. He did good in college, but there was the big basics there. Right? Yeah. Simple things like how to, as you said, how to walk, how to talk to somebody, how to develop courtesy. And let me be more basic, how to write. I'm extremely sorry to say that, see, in schools, certain school, see, you may call me an old-fashioned thing. In the name of putting lots of things, we are really diluting schools. This is I'm not offending schools. We are really diluting schools. Schools have to be strict. I'm of that opinion. Lots of things. See, students are facing an empty blank screen because now nobody is there to teach them. And the way they approach, for example, when a company gives a form to be filled, simple things. A company comes here for recruitment, they give a form, some application forms to be filled. How to write your name? I'm very basic there. How to write your name correctly there. How to start a sentence. Write about yourself. Handwriting, neatness, how to present it. See, companies are still at that level. These guys, the student guys think that it's all control and control, copy, paste and all. But no, personality determination starts from handwriting, the way you talk, the way you conduct yourself, which he learns from school teachers. We college teachers just give the final top up on it. I have heard immense experiences of people coming and telling me, sir, you are a good teacher, like my science teacher. But that was the thing there. Sir, you teach well, really like my maths teacher. See, that is what really stunned me. See, whatever it is, what you do there. That's why I said one day in school, what you do there, the student simply takes it in his life. So what I thought of how to foster it as a higher education institute, what should be done to foster it is, one of the basic things is higher institutes have to go back to schools and give them a feedback about their work. Look, this thing that you're doing is really good. He has done, it's not that we can tell that this teacher is good and all. The school culture there only played the role there. right? So this is what one of my favorite students, I call him. He is at present a leading engineer in Apple, which is a very big thing in technology domain. I put all his success to the school teachers. I take only a bit of it. We just paved the way for him to go there. His grasp of subjects, the way he deals, right? These are all things that he got from the school. We get 60 students in a class. It is all from different schools. Very easy for us to see that who has got that basic approach there. So higher institutes, we would like to tell that I would really like to go to that school and tell the school principal, bow my head in front of him, because they have created such a wonderful day. Truly in the name of Mata, Pita, Guru, Devam. We have that slogan in India. What Mata, Pita and Guru don't give the student, it is up to the God. That is how I interpret it. It is not that we have to respect everybody in the world. What a mother gives, what a father gives, what a teacher gives, this makes his life. And why we call it as God is, if these three people don't do their job, then it is left to God. That's how I take it. If he has it, he'll go ahead. So higher educations, to foster the school culture, there is no one good school culture. Each school has its own way of doing things. We need to identify those schools, and there is no comparison in these things. We need to identify those schools, go back to them, create sessions, take the student also with us, and try to create positivity in the school teachers, saying that, see, you have done something good here. Don't feel that you are simply coming to school daily and doing something nobody is appreciating. No, teachers won't get any appreciation in material form. All our feedback is students' life. So the only pat that we can give the school teachers is trying to give the feedback back to them and make them happy. That is the main thing there, which is enough for them to foster their school culture in a more reinforced fashion. They should feel confident, okay, what I am doing is good. This is what I personally feel there as a higher education institute point. All the higher educations, not only engineering colleges, we identify students. If you personally feel that it was because of this thing, go appreciate the school there. They are the basic institutes from where our kids come. And the teachers there should feel confident. Okay, I have done something. This is what my viewpoint here of fostering a good school culture. There is no one good school culture. Identify all the good practices. Go to schools. Give them a good feedback. No, not necessary for any press meet or journalistic meet. Encourage the teacher there who this student is telling. That would be the biggest boost for enhancing the school culture. I hope I have made...
What you said is, yes, I was so mesmerized listening to you. That you really, it's not about, like, we have compartmentalized the school culture is different from school to school, but at the end of the day, it is all the best practices, the good practices, which are common across the behavior, the ownership, as I was saying, accountability, or the main thing, happiness quotient, make them happy students, and and also help them finally give them that timely feedback. That is what Dr. Sabarish Narayanan says, and I would reiterate this fact for teachers, that it's very important that they should not regret later that they couldn't do or become what they wanted to only because we couldn't give them a timely feedback. Thank you so much, Mr. Sabarish. Now, moving on to Dr. Jasjeet Sood, you are, a veteran principal, and you've been awarded so many times. So this, and I'm sure, an award is the reflection of, when a person does some kind of a good work, and that good work, when it comes to principals, is actually the student outcome, student achievement, whether it is in terms of accolades or happiness quotient and all. But culture, when you're talking about student culture, cultures, they can make or break this school and educational institution, as they directly have, because earlier also we were talking about what a school should give to a child. They have an impact on student outcome. They have an impact of employee retention. And actually, schools are able to establish their reputation in the community, that, their students and teachers becomes their brand ambassadors. So you don't have to spend that extra money on advertising. If you are doing your work diligently and doing it the right way, you really don't need. But developing a strong, healthy culture is very, very difficult in today's VUCA world. When we talk about the VUCA world, which is marred by volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. These are all those big words. They are jargons, but they are very heavy words, and they can, give school culture, take the school culture for a toss. Now, in these environments, ma'am, how do you think we can create a culture as suggested by Mr. Sabrish? Ji, ma'am.
Yes. First of all, student spends 6 hours in the school. So as a leadership, I have this opinion that what my child learns or inculcate in these 6 hours, that are going to influence 18 hours at home. Because school culture does not mean that student is behaving in a particular way in the school. It means what are the changes we are inculcating in the child in overall personality, that how they behave in society when they are not in school, how they behave when they are not in the company of any elder, and how they behave in their peer group, at their home, when they get up, how they greet their parents. So all these things, I think all these things are part of school culture. School culture is not only for 6 hours, it's overall development of the child. So it depends upon that how how the child spends these 6 hours in a very, very productive way. And as ma'am, you have told that VUCA word. So first of all, we should prepare the child to accept and embrace change, as change is the new constant in today's world. Because the world is ever changing, technology is ever changing. We need to learn, unlearn, and then relearn. So same things we are inculcating in teachers as well as in students. So this can be done by scenario analysis. There are specific particular techniques. If we are going to follow we are following these techniques in our school, and they give appropriate results. Like in scenario analysis, volatility and uncertainty can be understood by imagining hypothetical but likely scenarios and then deciding what should be the course of action under each scenario. In our school, we do drills, activities, giving children different situations. And in senior classes, there are, a lot of case studies which are integrated into every subject, wherein children are exposed to different situations and how they behave, in what way they perceive the situation, and in what way they react to the situation, and what are their opinions, what kind of solutions they give to the situations. These responses are carefully analyzed, and from there we pick up that these are the children who will really adapt very fast to the change, and these are the children who really require some input from school side so that they can change their mindset and thought process. And there is rigorous training of teachers also, empowering teachers to customize solutions for every child, because every child is unique, and this thing is regular practice in our school. So this will our teachers then develop a mindset that we should not resist change. Rather, we should first ready to accept any kind of change anytime, and then we should be ready to give ample solutions to deal with their situations, because solutions can have varied, but the ultimate aim is to develop very conscious students who are very comfortable in this society and who live in a very peaceful manner. And collaboration plays very, very important role. If a child is coming to school and 6 or 7 teachers are teaching that child different subjects, now these teachers must collaborate for each and every child to know each and every aspect of behavior, that how child behaves in school and what are the indicators which indicate that this child might be behaving differently at different place. And even if the child is attempting any kind of question paper, and through handwriting you can pick up a lot of things, whether the child is giving full time to studies or not, or the child is missing outdoor activity. All these traits of children, they are analyzed very, very carefully. So if each and individual child is picked up one by one, the job becomes very easy, because those who are have gained a little more, they help in dragging other children in the mainstream line. And every child has very different potential. I think we should give ample opportunity to each and every child. Suppose there is one hydrogen balloon. If you keep that balloon in the room and you are not holding the balloon, it will go up and will touch the ceiling. But if same balloon is outside, it will go and fly in the skies. So I think opportunities should be vast. There should be a lot of activities. Even if there is one ritual is coming up, or Diwali festival is coming up, or this Independence Day is coming up, there should be quiz also, there should be cultural program also, because different children have different needs, they have different skills, they have different talent. Some might not be able to speak up, but they are able to show up the same feelings through painting. So we have ample activities and opportunities for students so that they can hone their different skills. So if they are working on skills and acquiring skills, if their all senses are getting satisfied in this school, I think they can easily deal with VUCA world. So volatility
Very
can be
rightly
addressed
said.
by providing the
Yes.
variety, because
Thank you.
diversity means stability. If you have diverse opportunities, definitely there will be more stable individual, and they will be knowing that if we are good at it, others are good at the other thing, and in what way the others are good. So that is why the CBSE has also started inclusive education, just to inculcate empathy, sympathy. So these traits, they come if there is inclusive education. So we are working on the similar platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think very well suggested that in this VUCA world of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, if I encapsulate all the thoughts of the various panelists and put them together, it becomes essentially important. Number one, to hone the skills of the student. So when your skills, whatever the skills are, your cognitive, motor, emotional, all skills have to be honed, and we have to prepare them to deal with this kind of uncertainties, and imbibe them and make them critical thinkers and problem solvers. So once these basics are, they fall in place, the foundation is strong, especially the teachers of the younger kids. Once these foundations are strong, automatically the building will definitely become a marvel. My question next is to Ms. Deep Bedi. Tell us, what are the core elements of any school, successful school culture in your perspective? We have spoken about so many things, but if I ask you, okay, tell me those 3 things the school principals or teacher could do, and they will have a successful school culture, what will those 3 things be?
There are so many parameters, Devyani madam. I don't know which one to pick up actually, but I was just thinking that the time you spend building a positive culture is never time wasted, it is time invested. So the core elements are many. Now, if you talk about, every school has their own vision and mission, and each, without each other, they are not complete. So the commitment towards your vision and mission of the school, the shared values that you imbibe in the children, the parents connect programs that you have with your parents, because that is also one important aspect without which it's really impossible to manage the child, manage the systems of the school, because we are all like a one big happy family. So we need to empower each other to protect our children, our school, and everybody associated with that. Now, the fundamental beliefs and assumptions. Now, as I believe, the Mount Litera USP is that every child is unique. Now, every child is unique means what? What is right for the child? How do you care for the child? What is special about a child? What are the special attributes in a particular child which a teacher can actually bring out? There are hidden talents. There are hidden things. Through these cultures, we can actually bring out the best, which a teacher only can actually nurture and see where he or she can actually stand. The holistic sense of responsibilities, the trust is there, the openness is there, the respect is there, appreciation of all employees and students, which should be celebrated at every level. Now, here also we celebrate Sanskar is one program which is given to us by Dr. Subhash Chandra, who is actually the owners of these schools. So he said that all schools must imbibe sanskars in their children before any education. Now, sanskars is what? Save girl child, save environment, Kargil Vijay Divas. Then there are n number of World Tiger Day. There are n number of things wherein you can find culture, wherein you can imbibe culture. You talk about Kargil Vijay Divas. Just an example I would like to share with you. Dr. Anuradha Prabhu Desai, if you Google about this lady, she is the one who actually was a banker. And then she left that and she went and worked with the Kargil martyrs, wherein the Jawans lost their lives. She went deep into their histories, what happened with each Jawan during whatever number of wars that took place. We somehow found about this lady. What we did is we also shared some cards, some rakhis, some beautiful masks for the Jawans, and whatever XYZ items. She took those. She was in Kargil. She was supposed to go to Kargil. She took all our items and she laid them at the wreaths of those Kargil Jawans. Dras is the place. So she said, Madam Bedi, ये कल्चर देना बहुत जरूरी है बच्चों में. आप तो सब चैन की नींद सोते हैं, लेकिन वो जो जवान आपके लिए लड़ रहे हैं पहाड़ों पर इतनी ठंड पे, माइनस टेम्परेचर में, बच्चों को मालूम होना चाहिए कि उनकी सैक्रिफाइसेस खाली नहीं जानी चाहिए. So she shared a book with us and she said, Google it. Let your children know the sacrifices of these Jawans, about their families, about somebody getting married, was just married for a month or was having a baby, could not meet their children, lost his leg, lost his arm, whatever, it really gives goosebumps when actually we had a good webinar with this lady, Anuradha Prabhu Desai. It gave us tears. Culture kahan se aata hai? यही तो है, यही तो संस्कार है जो हमें अपने बच्चों को देना. आप पढ़ाई छोड़ दीजिए, you leave the academics, you leave everything, you leave the functions, whatever is there, the part of an institution. लेकिन उससे पहले we are Indians. हमें पता होना चाहिए, we should know कि हम आज जो चैन की नींद सो रहे हैं ये उनकी वजह से है. तो ये छोटी छोटी चीजों के जो कल्चर्स हैं, हम जब लोगों से मिलते हैं, हम बात करते हैं, हमें पता लगता है कि कितना दुख और व्यथा है, कितनी प्रॉब्लम्स है जिंदगी में, तो क्या संस्कृति है. तो यही जो चीजें हैं, we need to be respectful to the people around us. We need to have consistent discipline. We need to engage children in such a way that they understand the social skills, the empathy, the respect, the concern that everybody should have for each other. ये स्कूल में हम क्लास रूल्स लगाते हैं, क्लासेस में क्लास रूल्स लगाते हैं. क्यों? उसका एक मेन टाइटल होना चाहिए, be respectful to the people around you, to the classmates around you, to the teachers around you, and even to the nannies. जो काम करने वाले कर्मचारी भी स्कूल में होते हैं, ड्राइवर, कंडक्टर, बस नैनीज, स्कूल गेट कीपर, व्हाटएवर, कल्चर हमें जो है ये उनके साथ भी हमें निभाना है. ये नहीं कि ए पानी ले आओ, व्हाटएवर द वे यू नो children talk at home अपनी नौकरानी के साथ या अपने सर्वेंट के साथ. No, we can't do that. We need to imbibe this culture. हम लेबर डे मनाते हैं स्कूल में 1 मई को. क्या होता है उसमें? We need to appreciate the efforts right from the gate to the inside people.
Great said. Well said, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
आपके यहाँ पे स्वीपर आते हैं, जमादार है, सबको हम सबको 1 में लेबर डे वाले दिन एक्नॉलेज करते हैं, अप्रिशिएट करते हैं, मेडल्स डालते हैं, कार्ड्स देते हैं. तो कल्चर क्या है? यही थोड़ी है कि आप फैनाटिक कार्स में घूम रहे हैं या यू आर हैविंग वंडरफुल लाइफस्टाइल. नो, आपको पता होना चाहिए कि हर बच्चा स्कूल में बराबर है, तभी तो हम यूनिफॉर्म लगाते हैं स्कूल में. व्हाई डू वी हैव यूनिफॉर्म? फॉर यूनिफॉर्मिटी.
Right.
So I just want to say there are so many parameters which is endless. तो जब every school is doing good, every school has their own parameters, लेकिन जब हम ground level से शुरू करते हैं, we get from the ground level, we see अरे आज हम ये भी कल्चर इम्बाइब कर सकते हैं. अच्छा, इस मंथ का ये है, इसके अंदर हम ये वैल्यू एडिशन कर सकते हैं, इस असेंबली में हम ये चीज ऐड कर सकते हैं. हम I mean like Devyani ma'am, believe you me, and even Sood madam and Sabarish ji, that there are n number of things to be imbibed in the children. And after a pandemic year, two years, I think we have lost a lot of things. We again, as I said in the earlier part, that we need to come back, have a solid platform, imbibe the cultures back again. We need to erase everything, give a fresh beginning, which we have started doing, and I'm sure the others also. So core elements बहुत सारे हैं देवयानी मैम, इसका कोई अंत ही नहीं है, कोई एंड ही नहीं है. So thank you so much for that.
Very well.
I don't know, the time will go on and on. Once we
No,
keep
very
discussing.
well said. Actually,
So,
this
this
is
is
such
what-
a topic where there cannot be 4 or 5 parameters. It's
Yes, ma'am.
a whole
Yes,
journey
ma'am.
that the school collaboratively has to undertake. It's a mission, as you said, and it's a
Exactly,
vision
ma'am.
that you have to all relate to and move forward. And very rightly said, it all begins with respect, with empathy,
Yes.
with honing the right social skills. I was actually noting them down when you were speaking, that these are our core values, and they will create a school culture. क्या आपका बच्चा visitor को wish कर रहे हैं जब some visitors come to your school? Are they able to help the child find the right path? Are they able to help the visitor or anybody who comes to find the right path voluntarily and not just brush the shoulders?
They should wish the nanny and the gatekeepers. I've told my children, when you
Yes.
enter the gate, you must wish it. Wish the nannies good morning, the lady conductors good morning, the drivers also good morning. Namaskar kariye. What's bad in that? What's bad in
So
that?
that is yes, and I think that is why I said it is a whole journey which the entire institution has to undertake collectively. Thank you so much, ma'am. Moving on to Mr. Sabrish Narayanan. Ms. Bedi spoke about mission and vision statements, and she said, and we all believe, that these are the foundations. And how do these become? These should not be just those two paragraphs in your almanac or, loftily displayed on your website. They should be lived by everyone. They are your shared values, shared goals, and they should not just be, arrested in a particular period. Rather, they should be nurtured in the children. Now, my question to you is, what should be kept in mind while setting vision and direction, which will become one of the most important contributors to their success? Because otherwise, the mission, vision statements, they all remain jargons. And since you've been putting things very simply and very, effortlessly, so could you let our viewers hear that how can this be, put in practice?
Yeah, these two words, vision and mission, are they are highly used in Indian education scenario, right? The idea is like, see, vision, I take it like this: vision is the aim of the institute, and mission is the way in which the vision is to be achieved, right? That is the first way we go ahead. Vision statements, if you see, most of the educational institutions have the same type of vision only. What is the aim of an educational institution? It is to foster whatever Deep Madam told. That is the idea there. So the statements can be varying in any sense to develop something, and all. That's all good. My concern is the way in which the vision actually transforms to mission. So in mission is that even the mission statement makes it clear that how the vision is implemented. Here, I would like to have some plain speaking points there. It is, for example, we say that we have, as Madam said, how to be courteous to everybody. My idea would be like, see, the student should be exposed to the way in which the mission is being implemented. We should create the scenario such that the student is exposed to the mission. Oh, this is how the mission is being implemented, right? For example, let me put a small scenario. It may not be that much big, and I'm not that much expert at the school level scenarios. See, for example, I don't know, maybe please forgive me if the example is so silly also. What happens, what do you do to a student who comes late to school? This is a very simple thing. Not that if all the students come late to school daily, he may have little bit problems, but the school may have certain rules there. What is to be done to that school? But here is what the idea of how the mission is to be implemented. In our Amrita scenario, what we do is we have the general framework of rules, but students are associated with certain advisors and teachers through which they move along. The teachers implement the rules in a customized fashion. I know that I'm talking at a very ideal level, but something that we have found success here. Right? For example, a student doesn't do one subject well and he's got something called as an arrear. There are lots of options present before the student. That is the rules of the institute as laid out in the mission statement. But how there is no general blanket rule there. The teachers should be empowered to implement the rules considering the background of the student. I am not putting it as a very ideal statement. Teachers also should be motivated enough to take it up, because otherwise the entire thing goes for a toss. But if we are able to create such a scenario, then it becomes a really self-sustaining scenario. Right? For example, in the school, some schools which I see, for example, the same late coming event. I stay in a bit of a rural area where there is a school and people find it difficult to come to school on time. So I just observed that scenario there actually. So it is one person who deals the entire show. So he takes a blanket approach and that's it. You come late to school, this is the thing. It's not necessarily like that. This is one sample example where the teacher should be, a teacher associated with the student should be given power to deal with all the day-to-day activities. That's what I said, how one day is to be done in school. If you're early to school, well and good. Attend the assembly, go ahead, start off. Suddenly you become late. Then how are you treated? What is the way in which the so-called punishment is meted out to you? I'm sorry, I don't know any other words to be used. Nowadays, we are becoming too formal as to no punishment, nothing and all. And I cannot just digest these things. What has to be said has to be said. So the way in which the so-called punishment is to be meted influences the child. He is not worried too much about the punishment being given there. So that if a teacher, for example, let me put it like this, class 1 to 3, there are a set of teachers who know the students perfectly. 4 to 6, I feel that these are some age levels. 7 to 9, 10th and 11th and 12th. Each student, if you can deal with it separately, all the issues that he faces. I think that most of the schools are doing this, but implementing the mission statement, the student should feel that. That is my crux there. and specifically in the way in which when we correct him, when everything goes on well, it's all fine and good. Nobody is worried about anything. But when something goes awry and the teacher is and the institute is in a role to correct him, there we need to empower the teacher a bit, the teachers who know the student a bit, and try to implement the things correctly. This is something which I can only elucidate more and more with examples. Right? My idea is there is no blanket application of rules. That is the main thing. We should never do that in an institute. Rules are there. Definitely rules are there. I am not against rules. But the way in which the rule should be applied, please call the concerned teachers, try to get a background of the student, and then try to provide the correction paths. The correction path involves punishment also. I am not for the saying that don't punish students, nothing like that. They have to be corrected. And as I said, if they don't get it corrected in school, it's gone. Forget it. But the way in which the correction has to be done shouldn't be done by a blanket approach. Right. More customized. He doesn't do well in a subject. Maybe he has failed in 1 year, say 6th standard or 7th standard. We need to, the failing has failing. I'm not against it. I'm not asking you to push him up and all. But how to treat him next? This is where we are actually forming the student there. That is what I would like to tell there. And I would like to really tell it that I am not putting it in ideal fashion. It is doable. What I am telling it is through the people who know that student. No blanket bans, please. Blanket application of rules should not be there in institute. Our students are from varied backgrounds. They have lots of issues. Try to understand it. Then if once you give the apt punishment to the student also recognizes it. This is the main thing. You understand the student, understand, for example, why he was late there. And if the teacher supposedly gives him a small excuse, it works out fantastically well. That student understands the mission of the school, the vision of the school. If he is totally approving of the punishment that he has got or the excuse that he has got, both cases, the teacher should have inculcated it in his mind. This comes
Thank you, sir.
When a teacher does this, how the school treats the teacher. That is also equally important because that's what the teacher is going to do to the student. So what I feel is it's a top-down approach, and everybody, as both the madams said, everybody has to implement it correctly. Right? Maybe the nanny in the bus, a student comes from the house late, how she treats him and how the student puts it back. This small things is what I always tell as culture. So try to give more power to the, empower the people to do it in the correct fashion. I am not telling them, give them total freedom. So it starts from the top. If they treat the next level like that, they also treat everybody like that. Very easy to tell a student, go wish the watchman or whoever is standing at the gate. But unless otherwise the teacher does it, the student will not do it. This has to be done. We cannot tell the student, wish the watchman every time. And if I am standing there, he may wish the watchman in my presence. But as madam said, that is not the aim there. So we need to have teachers who are motivated. That is number one. We need to have from the higher ups also, the motivation level should be kept up. That is quite difficult unless otherwise we have a bit of a spiritual leadership there. The leadership level, we have to be a bit philosophical. We can't be too much materialistic going for day-to-day accounting. Day-to-day accounting is important, but if the top level itself starts at day-to-day accounting, then things go for a toss. Little bit you have to be free, and within that you have to allow the people below you to work, allow for small mistakes here and there, things will improve. We can't have blanket implementations. This is what I would like to put here.
Thank you so much. We should not have a blanket approach here.
Yes,
what is required is, well, yes, then what is required is we need to empower the teachers. Two things, which you in fact said many things, but if I would like to reiterate is, yes, all the managements need to hear that if a teacher is dealing with the student, then the teacher should be empowered to deal, to, come up with those solutions. But at the management level, at the top level, when they design the mission statement should actually be converted into a white paper document as well, so that the mission and vision statement do not remain some philosophical literary
Exactly.
pieces, but they are visible in the code of conduct. And then I think the management can take a little back seat and play the role of a motivator. And as you very rightly said, that they need to be little at leadership level. There has to be that spiritual and philosophical approach where you can allow some mistakes to happen. It should not be a checklist that do's and don'ts. But at the same time, when you spoke about punishment, I feel that why are we even speaking about punishment? Because we need the self-discipline, the mindfulness. We talk about accountability, and we spoke such beautiful concepts, honing the social skills and empathy and, the various EQs and along with the IQs. So why look at punishment as the end result? We need to kind of constantly, as you said, that allow room for mistakes. It's fine when people make mistake. The only thing is they should not repeat that kind of a mistake. We are already running short of time, and I think this is such a beautiful topic, and the conversations, the insights which our panelists are giving, I think they are like those white paper that we are creating today, and we are understanding that how should a school culture be built, and together we all stakeholders can do it. One last question I'm tempted to. I have a very beautiful question in front of me, but I would request all the panelists to remain as brief as possible, please. Just like a minute's take on that. Now, often, we have a curriculum. What I call the school culture is a very, very hidden curriculum. There is a curriculum, there is a syllabus that we know there is, okay, these are the topics and these are the things that need to be done. But there is a parallel culture which, runs in the school, and that is the hidden curriculum, for which you keep on adding as many values, as many pointers, as all three of our panelists would agree that they spoke about, that there cannot be 3-4 pointers. Now, this hidden culture, students begin learning the culture curriculum even before the first day of their school. It all starts at home. Now, very briefly, if I ask that, how can schools reiterate this hidden curriculum in their culture subtly? So how can they integrate this hidden curriculum too with the, the regular curriculum? Just 1 minute you all have. So please adhere to the time. Yes, Ms. Jasjeet Sood, I'll begin with you.
Yes, this hidden curriculum is equally very, very important, and this can be addressed too by constant interactions with the parents, where parents, students, and teachers sit together and talk regarding the students as an individual and student in this class. So that thing is done in our school, as it is a regular practice. Parental counseling, where parents are there but student is not there, that is also very important, that these are the things which are taught in school, these are the new things which are introduced by new education policy, and parents must be aware of, like say, take the example of oral hygiene. Oral hygiene you need to teach to student also, to the parents also, that these are the things which as a parent he or she should look after. So I think this hidden culture is extremely important, because it influences the main culture of the school, or the whatever pedagogy we are following, that is influenced by this hidden culture. And if we are addressing to this hidden culture at every place, definitely the problems will be less and there will be positive culture and the issues will be less. And
Great.
another thing which I want to highlight is that empowering teachers at every step is very important. We have flat organization concept where
Thank you
teachers
so much,
have
ma'am.
so many,
Thank you so
parts.
much because
Yes, yes, thank you.
yes, because I just want 1 minute, very brief, ma'am.
Okay,
Otherwise,
okay,
I'll skip.
fine,
Okay, because
fine.
there is an audience question again. That yes, Miss Bedi, Miss Deep, what would you want to say about this hidden curriculum? It's a curriculum. How can we integrate it in a
See,
very
school
subtle way
culture,
in this
school,
VUCA world? Hmm.
see, school culture has already been referred as hidden curriculum of school. So by fostering
Hmm.
efforts and collaborative productivity, collegial and promoting better communication, successful changes and efforts to amplify energy and motivation and focus attention on
Hmm.
the daily behavior that can be noted. I think these are the few parameters which can actually make things work.
Daily behavior. Thank you so much, ma'am. What you said, that's promoting collaboration and collegiality and a daily behavior. Only then can we integrate it in a subtle way. Yes, Mr. Sabarish Narayanan, what you have to say, but in 1 minute. Ji.
Yeah. Motivating top-down approach plus
Okay.
student plus people who really are interested in becoming teachers. If a combination of these two things happen, that's enough.
Great. That will be, yes, motivating and the top-down approach, a combination of it. Thank you so much, all our panelists. We have a tradition where we encourage our participants to register for these webinars and so that they can have a valuable takeaway. And we encourage them to turn down any question of which they feel is relevant. And we get a very overwhelming response each time, but considering that the webinar is only for an hour, we can only manage to take one question. And this time, that becomes an award-winning question, which is then addressed to all the panelists who give their perspectives. And this time, the award-winning question is by Miss Mona Suneja of Allen House Public School, Jhansi. Congratulations, Miss Mona. And her question is, how can we cultivate in students' mind that they should keep positive attitude towards school? Very basic, very simple question, and I think very relevant because so much school gives in to the child, but when the children normally, they are quite critical. I've seen students quite critical of their school. That so how can we inculcate that feeling of gratitude and positive attitude towards them? I'll start with Dr. Sabarish Narayanan first. So this time it's not ladies first. We'll have you as you're in minority on the panel. Yes.
Right, ma'am. So how to inculcate a positive attitude towards coming to school? The teacher sees only one person in the school, and that the student sees only one person in the school, and that's his teacher. The teacher's approach decides everything. So the teacher's motivation there decides everything. It may be a very big school, it may be a very small school, it may be a school in a rural area, urban area, nothing. If the teacher is motivated, he inculcates positive attitude. And I request that there may be lots of difficulties that teachers may face, but we have to realize that we have taken up this job. Right? At least on that condition, it is our duty to be positive and motivational. No excuses there. If we are like this, the student develops a positive attitude. That's all, ma'am. We should be
so
positive.
much.
If you are not positive, then everything goes for a toss. That's it. And there are no excuses. That's my another way of putting it.
I think very rightly all of you pointed out. And towards the end, if I look at all the insights that were provided by our panelists, and we would all agree to build. Of course, it is a collaborative effort, but considering that the student spends the maximum time in the company of the teachers, and teachers become those brand ambassadors, representatives of the management of the school. So yes, a lot of responsibilities come on the educators. The importance of a school's culture finally is reflected in its faculty members, along with the students and support staff. Everyone, how they think, what they believe, how they treat each other, what are the conversations that go on. If the teaching staff works in a pleasant environment, is supported by the school management, and is encouraged to collaborate and connect with other instructors, they will be more successful in these roles, and the expectations that we have laid in front of them today will be fulfilled. And finally, I would rest my case by saying collegiality and collaboration go a long way in improving the quality of instruction, which in turn results in higher student achievement. And when I say higher student achievement, I am not at all talking about their marks. I'm talking about their overall development, becoming compassionate, empathetic, critical thinkers, and problem solvers. We come to the end of this session. Thank you so much, each of our esteemed panelists. We request you to please stay tuned to our web series, which is Futuristic Education. And each time we bring in some or the other extremely pertinent issue of the 21st century teaching learning process. We request you to please send us your suggestions at info@edudevs.com. And before we end, we may ask our tech team to please play the video for the viewing of the entire audience. Thank you so much, our esteemed panel, and I shall take your leave.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.